In a small English village hidden between rolling fields and misty hills, there's a house no one dares visit after dark. Bettiscombe Manor is its name, home to the most infamous cursed object in the country, the Screaming Skull. Locals say the skull belonged to a servant who died far from his homeland. He begged to be buried where he came from, but his master refused. They buried him instead in English soil, and that's when the screaming started. At night, the manor would shake like something was pounding on the walls from the inside. Windows shattered, doors slammed. Every mirror in the house cracked at the same time. The family tried everything. They dug up the body. They blessed the grave. They even burned sage until the whole manor filled with smoke. But nothing helped, because the moment they removed the skull from the coffin, it began to whisper. At first, it was faint, like breaths against the wooden floors, then louder, until the house echoed with the voice of a man who refused to rest.
Take me,
One night, after the floorboards buckled from the shaking and the windows exploded inward, the family did the only one thing that worked. They placed the skull on a shelf in the manor, unburied, uncovered, left in the open exactly where it wanted to be. And the screaming stopped. For over 200 years, the skull stayed there. Anyone who tried to move it felt dizzy, sick, sometimes even collapsed. And on the rare days when someone did dare pick it up, they swore they heard a faint voice whispering behind their ear.
Not again, not again.
To this day, locals warn tourists, if you visit Bettiscombe Manor, don't touch the skull unless you want to hear it scream. Okay, now here's the real story. The Screaming Skull of Bettiscombe Manor is a real piece of English folklore. The legend began in the 18th century when a servant, possibly from the Caribbean or West Indies, died while working for the Piney family. He wished to be buried in his homeland, but the family did not send his body back. Soon after the burial, locals reported unexplained noises, rumbling walls, shaking furniture, crashing sounds at night. People genuinely believed the spirit was angry because his dying wish had been ignored. The story spread so widely that the skull was eventually removed from the grave and kept inside the house, and the disturbances were set to stop. But here's the twist. Historians later discovered that the skull may not have belonged to the servant at all. It might have been hundreds of years older, possibly from the Iron Age. So the true mystery remains. Whose skull is it really? And why did the legend say it only stopped screaming once it was brought inside the manor? Folklore? Coincidence? A family myth blown out of proportion? Or was something actually restless?